Okay, so this video is about sentence structure. So if you've had any comments in your writing about a fused sentence or a run-on sentence or a comma splice, this is part one for you. So this video, part one, will cover the parts of a complete sentence and the run-on sentence, but it's actually about a specific type, and that is the fused run-on sentence. So after this video and the task I have for you to take notes along with it, you will be able to name the two components of a complete sentence and explain them, which are subject, predicate. You'll be able to recognize a fused sentence error and how to correct it, and then you'll be able to list some examples of conjunction words. Okay, so let's get started. So in order to be a complete sentence, or in other words, an independent clause, a group of words must contain the following two components: a subject and a predicate. We do often call a complete sentence an independent clause. They mean the same thing. A common sense way to remember this is that the word independent means you can stand alone. So an independent clause is a group of words that can stand alone by itself. It makes sense. It's a complete thought. So back to subject and predicate. They're the two components that a sentence has to have. Otherwise, it's not complete. Subject is always a noun. You could possibly have more than one noun in a sentence. In fact, by grade 9, 10, 11, 12, our sentences, most of them are complex and they contain a number of nouns. But the subject is a noun that is the main noun. It is the noun that the sentence is about. Remember that a noun is always a person, place, or thing. So what person, place, or thing is the sentence about? So I ask myself this prompting question when you look at a sentence. Who or what is the sentence about? Let's take a look at this first sentence. The night started with the most amazing sight. The sentence is about night, the night. And I'm just going to actually take this underline out. What about it? Well, that brings us to the predicate. It's always a verb. A verb doesn't necessarily always an action itself. It could also be a state of being. But one other way to think about predicate or to identify it is to ask, what is the subject doing? What about it? What did it do? What will it do? Or what is it? So in this case, the subject is the night. And what about the night? Well, it started with the most amazing sight. We have subject and we have predicate. It's a complete thought. It's an independent clause. So let's look at some other examples. In this case, I have underlined the subjects and made the use bold print for the predicates. So the first sentence, I love pizza. Who is the sentence about? I. What about me? Well, I love pizza. Subject, predicate. Running helps me clear my mind. We actually have two nouns here. We have mind and we have running. You might think that running is a verb. It's a special kind of word called a gerund, but that's maybe for video 67. So instead, let's go back to the simple question, who or what is the sentence about? It's about running. And what about running? Running helps me clear my mind. So here's a quick little check. What if I had mistakenly assumed that this was the subject? Well, one way you can test this is to ask, well, what about my mind? What is it doing? Well, my mind in this sentence isn't doing anything. So this subject is actually running. The subject has a predicate. Holy Cross is an amazing school. Who or what is the sentence about? It's Holy Cross. What about Holy Cross? Is an amazing school. Subject, predicate. Notice that the subject comes before the predicate in all of these sentences and in most cases in language. Occasionally we'll switch them, not very often. Summer is quickly approaching. Who or what is it about? It's about summer. What about it? Summer is quickly approaching. Subject, predicate. Let's try another one. The students are getting excited. Who or what is the sentence about? It's about the students, and what words tell about them? Students are getting excited. Subjects, predicates. Now let's look at our first error. The students are getting excited. Summer is quickly approaching. This is where I kind of go, oh, because we have two sentences just squished together here. Now, if we look at the next example, you'll see how these ideas are separated. The students are getting excited because summer is quickly approaching. This word here, the word because, makes this a compound sentence. The word compound means more than one. So this clause has two sentences. And we can double check that by looking at subjects predicates. If we look up here, the one above, who or what is this sentence about? Well, the first part is about the students. Subject, what about them? They are getting excited. That's a complete thought. We're just going to make that a little larger. That's a complete thought. Now let's check the other half. Summer is quickly approaching. We have another subject and another predicate. Just going to make that a different color. So we have two sentences and there's nothing in between them, and that is called a fused sentence error. Sometimes we just write run-on error, but I like to distinguish because if you know what kind of error it is, then you can fix it. So I'm putting this little glue gun in here to show you, to help as sort of as a visual clue to remember this type of error. You are fusing, almost like gluing, two complete sentences together. And that means that you have two independent clauses. And you can see on this half, we have subject, Ms. McKenna, and a predicate, what about her? She loves teaching about sentence structure. That would make sense on its own as a sentence. But someone has glued those together. This other half says she, that is a noun, it's a person. She wishes she had plenty of time to teach in-depth lessons about it. Two independent clauses, smooshed, glued together, fused. It's an error. So how do we fix this? Well, if we remember that sentences have to end with some sort of punctuation, the most obvious way is to actually put a period after the first sentence. The students are getting excited. Summer is quickly approaching. It sounds a little bit choppy. Grammatically, it's correct. But if you want to kind of bring your sentences to another level of sophistication, we can combine them. And we use a conjunction. Conjunction means it's a joining spot. And so here's some examples of words. Now, there are many different kinds of conjunctions, but I've just listed three here. The word because, the word and, the word whereas. They can join to complete thoughts. So let's just see which one makes sense. The students are getting excited and summer is quickly approaching. Yeah, that works. The students are getting excited whereas summer is quickly approaching. Doesn't make sense because whereas indicates that we're going to have two opposite ideas. But the word because really is a good fit here. So I'm just going to insert that to show you. So we still have two independent clauses. The students are getting excited and summer is quickly approaching, but we have this joining word. So it's no longer an error. It's right. Now, there is another type of run-on error, but I'm going to cover that in the next in the next video, because it is the bane of my existence. So I hope this has been helpful. Please review. If I went a little too fast, you can play this video over again and look at the handout that I gave you to go with it.